The Korean entertainment industry was thrown into a whirlwind of excitement on December 4, when Yoo Yeon Seok, known for his depth, sincerity, and unforgettable screen presence, sat down for an exclusive interview that no one expected would turn into one of the most revealing moments of his career. Although the drama, When the Phone Rings, had ended months ago, the emotional aftershocks remained strong among fans who were still obsessed with the intense chemistry between his character, Baek Sa-yuan, and Chae Soo-bin's Hong Hee-ju. What no one anticipated was that this interview would reignite that flame, not just for the public, but seemingly for the actor himself. When asked about the overwhelming number of fans still shipping him and Chae Soo-bin, Yoo Yeon Seok smiled with a mixture of embarrassment and fondness, an expression that instantly set social media ablaze. "I've seen the comments, especially from international fans," he admitted. "So many people keep saying, 'Just get married already.' It's honestly touching. It means they believed in our chemistry, maybe even more deeply than we expected. When the audience becomes that invested, it tells you we've created something real, something that resonates." But the real spark came when the interviewer directly asked whether his relationship with Chae Soo-bin had changed since the drama ended. Yeon Seok laughed softly, trying to deflect at first, but the way he shifted in his seat, visibly flustered, only made the atmosphere more charged. "Well, that is not something I can decide alone," he said, choosing his words carefully. "Relationships, especially meaningful ones, they grow naturally. They don't happen because someone pushes for an answer. They happen because both feel the same thing at the right moment." It was a vague response on the surface, but the look in his eyes betrayed a deeper truth, one that fans immediately picked up on once the interview clip went viral. The interviewer pressed him again, this time asking with a hint of boldness, "Is there any chance you and Chae Soo-bin could become a real couple in the future?" Instead of denying or shutting down the speculation like most actors would, Yoo Yeon Seok unexpectedly leaned into the question. He lowered his gaze before answering, and his voice turned softer, almost vulnerable. "You know, working with Soo-bin was not just easy. It was meaningful. She's shy at first, incredibly gentle, but once she trusts you, she opens up in a way that surprises you. I learned a lot from watching her act, from the way she communicates even without words. So, if you ask whether something could happen between us, well, life is unpredictable, and sometimes the most beautiful things are the ones you don't plan." The interview room fell silent, and even the staff momentarily stopped moving. It wasn't just a diplomatic response. It was a confession, wrapped carefully in uncertainty, but carrying the weight of genuine emotion. Soon after, the topic shifted to the behind-the-scenes experience of filming the emotionally charged love scenes that had captivated audiences worldwide. Yoo Yeon Seok revealed details that fans had never heard before. "In the beginning, Soo-bin was extremely shy," he recalled with a nostalgic smile. "There were scenes where she didn't even speak because her character used sign language, so I was practically monologuing. But despite that, she was so focused, so sincere, and because we were under the same agency, there was this natural sense of responsibility to take care of each other. Day by day, she started trusting me more. That trust became the foundation for the emotional depth you see on screen." When discussing the kissing scenes, he surprised everyone by confessing just how much thought went into them. "Every kiss had a different meaning," Yeon Seok explained. "Some were hesitant, some were desperate, and the final kiss, that was a reunion kiss. It was the moment Baek Sa-yuan let go of guilt and chose love instead. Soo-bin and I talked for a long time about the emotions behind it. We didn't want to act, we wanted to feel it." And when speaking about the now famous bed scene in episode 12, he gave an answer that instantly dominated trending platforms. We actually studied several scenes together, he said. We wanted it to look intimate, but emotional, not just physical closeness. We wanted the audience to see two broken souls finding comfort. When we finished filming, we both felt relieved, like we had truly understood each other's hearts. It was this line, truly understood each other's hearts, that fans locked onto, claiming it sounded far too authentic to be limited to acting. And the rumors only grew stronger when the interviewer cautiously brought up the topic of marriage. Joking at first, the interviewer said, "With the way fans are pushing you two to get married, have you ever thought about what it'd be like?" Yoo Yeon Seok took a slow breath before offering the most shocking answer of the interview. "It's funny you mention that. Soo Bin and we've talked about the future, not in a dramatic way, but in a sincere one. When you work closely with someone and see their true character, their patience, their warmth, you naturally start imagining what it would be like to build a life with them. I won't lie, she has the qualities of someone I could spend my life with." The interviewer blinked, stunned, and asked cautiously, "So, if the timing was right, you would choose her as a life partner?" Yoo Yeon Seok paused for a long moment, then nodded. "Yes, if the timing is right, and if our hearts align, I would choose her." That single statement was enough to send the industry into chaos. But it didn't end there. Toward the conclusion of the interview, he made a revelation that caused immediate media frenzy. "I think everyone reaches a point where they start thinking seriously about marriage," he said calmly. "And honestly, if things continue to develop the way they have been, I could see myself getting married, possibly even by the end of this year." The room exploded with whispers, and fans online nearly shut down servers as the quote spread. Suddenly, what began as a simple interview turned into a near confirmation of a real-life romance and even potential wedding plans. Whether or not Yoo Yeon Seok and Chae Soo officially announced their relationship soon, one thing is certain. His words did not come from a place of calculated caution, but from genuine affection. And for countless fans around the world, the idea that the on-screen couple who once stole their hearts might be preparing for a real-life future together is a dream too beautiful to resist. In the end, Yoo Yeon Seok's message was clear, even if he didn't say it outright. Sometimes love doesn't need to be declared openly. Sometimes it reveals itself in the tremble of a voice, in a lingering smile, or in a confession disguised as possibility. And today, for the first time, he let the world see exactly where his heart is headed. As the interview clip continued to spread throughout social media platforms, fans began dissecting every subtle expression, every hesitation, and every emotional shift in Yoo Yeon Seok's voice. Some argued that he was being cautious out of respect for Chae Soo privacy, while others insisted that his tone carried far more sincerity than he intended to reveal. The comment sections exploded with messages like, "He's totally in love with her," "This is not how actors talk about co-stars," and "They're getting married, I can feel it." Even international fan forums were flooded with translations of his statements, each interpretation adding new layers of meaning. It became clear that his simple confession had awakened a collective hope that perhaps the gentle, intimate connection the two had shared on screen was now quietly blossoming into something real behind the scenes. Meanwhile, industry insiders began offering their own cryptic remarks, further fueling the fire. One anonymous staff member who worked with both actors privately commented online, "Anyone who saw them off camera would understand. The way they look at each other is not normal colleague behavior. They were always checking each other's comfort, always whispering before scenes, always smiling when the other wasn't looking." Although unverified, these statements spread like wildfire, aligning perfectly with Yoo Yeon Seok's emotional reflections in the interview. Suddenly, the theory that the two stars might be planning a future together no longer seemed like wild fan imagination, but a possibility rooted in genuine observation. Discussions grew even more intense when fans discovered that both actors had no conflicting schedules for the final quarter of the year, an unusual coincidence that only strengthened the speculation about a potential wedding announcement. Despite the media frenzy, Yoo Yeon Seok himself appeared calmer than expected in later backstage comments recorded after the interview. When a staff member jokingly asked him, "So, are you really thinking about marriage this year?" he simply smiled, looked down for a brief moment, and replied quietly, "People should get married when they truly understand the other person. I think I'm at an age where I value sincerity more than anything else. And when someone makes your life warmer just by being in it, that's when you start imagining a future, a real one." Those words spoken casually and without cameras pointed at him